All right, so as I mentioned, I'm a Mac user. So I have, when I connect my phone, let me just resize this a little bit. When I connect my phone to the computer, of course, I have it set up so Photos opens and it takes the photos off my phone and opens up, and it doesn't copy them actually. I have to tell it to copy them over here. So one of the things that I had as a question was, how do you find out all those little details about your photos? So as you might notice, this is kind of a large photo. This is Bleeding Heart. For those of you who are gardeners, you're familiar with this. This was taken, I would say, well, we're about to find out. Let's get some information. May 12, 2019. And I can tell from this dimensions, so that's kind of a big image, right? And 1.8 megs. That sounds like a lot for a record. You know, when you're used to seeing images on the web, they're much smaller than this. And we've got some ideas there about the size of it. And I could add additional stuff here, but I don't need to, basically. So I know that it's JPEG. I know information about how the camera is taking the pictures. I know the size of the file. I know the dimensions of the photo. Okay, so now I have the option here to export. And so what the export allows me to do is I can just export it straight as it is. So let's do that. We can do that. So I can export it as a TIFF here. And that's a pretty good format for an original file. And let's say we want to do this one full size because we're creating master. Okay, so we've created our master. And it doesn't give you the option to rename it here, but that's okay. We can go and do it later. So we're just going to export it here. So for any of you who are taking pictures of stuff with an iPhone, this may be helpful to you. If not, if you're doing it some other way, some pieces of this will be helpful to you. Okay, so let's just say we are going to, now you're seeing all the stuff. I'm giving you all the spoiler alert. Okay. So here's the image. My naming convention is initials. Yes, Ollie, that is correct. Yeah. I was asking about taking born digital images. So I'm putting the date that I'm creating this. Well, we want to do. And that's the TIFF. Okay, so that's our master. And now, double-clicking on that, I want to make the working file. Oh, that's my dog Free. Yeah, she, Black Lab, she passed away a few years ago, 17 years old. I'll tell you, she was the most rock and roll dog. Okay, so now we're going to make the JPEG. And we are going to, we can resize it if we want. I forgot to do that. So we have some tools here. We can adjust the size. And standard web images are about 300 pixels is a good way to start, and it's got the recalculation on here. And then we're going to export this as a JPEG. And you might have to fool around a little bit with this, but the thing is, this is our working, so I'm going to want to make sure I put a W there. So now, I have to put the master. I've got one with an M and one with a W. So what can you do with that? You have a couple of different choices. So what you can do is, and this is our course, and I want to go back and look at the templates that I put out there for you. There is a walkthrough also video that I put on the course homepage that you can go through. So you've got a couple templates here that you can work from. I had this loaded, but I guess I use this computer all day long. Things get unloaded. Okay, one moment, please. Okay. Okay. So this master file, then I will put the master file name there, and so we know it's this. It's the, I hate that it capitalizes that stuff. It's the, the date, and it's the, and it keeps going back and doing this. I know I can shut that off, I just don't feel like it right now. And you can put it in like that if you want, or you can put it in, you know, lowercase. Oh, I'm sorry. This was, I need to look at the exemplars. And you just kind of fill out the form for each one. So that's really all that you need to do. And so we know, for example, this one is 300 because we just made it 300 by whatever it was. And this one was 3024 by whatever it was. I will go back and get that information. And then all this other information was just in the various places we looked at it. So I hope that helps. No, you don't. You just need to fill out this thing. But I'm glad you asked that, Denise, because I want to show you what you would do with them afterward. So this is a good question. So what will you do with these images once you have them? So let's get rid of here. Okay, so what you'll need to do is go into your digital library. You can see I was already in here today. And you need to add some items. So I'm going to add new item. And now, as we're moving into the metadata phase, this is just a little preview of that. So you're going to get the base Dublin core metadata. There's nothing you have to do with it to this. You can subtract fields later on if you want, but this is the base Dublin core metadata. And so we might want to, that was, so Bleeding Heart and Spring. So, oh, I wanted to show you this. I installed this today. This is the Library of Congress Suggest plugin. Does anybody know about this plugin? Have you looked at this? I want to highly recommend it. So this is a new one, and I put it in there, and you see how subject headings are popping up below as I'm typing? I activated that in the plugin, and so let me just finish this, and then I'll go and talk about the plugin and my fabulous experience with it. Has anybody installed it and had good luck with it? I just want to give it a recommend. So other kinds of things. If it finds it in LC, it shows it to you. And then, you know, okay, you can go through this whole thing. Okay. So then across the top, you have the ability to add some special item type metadata, but you're not at that point. So don't really worry about this too much right now. It's just if you need a place to park your images, this is what you can do. Or you can hang on to them and park them and put them all up later after you figure out what you want your metadata format to be. Omega is very forgiving that you can add fields later on as well. If you want to just start out with the basic fields, and then after the metadata person leads the group through thinking about whether there are additional fields you need, you can do that and then go back and add. Something to think. You can use a combination, or it's really, I find, a much more satisfying experience if you use a combination, as strange as that may be, that you're maybe not loving the photos you took so much. Just that the process of resizing the photo and tracking down all of the descriptive information for it, it really, I think, kind of well rounds your experience, whereas kind of representing it can just, I don't know, this just seems like the same thing all over again. It depends. I mean, if you're the collection development person, I think this is a decision that you'll want to make with your group members. Collect some viewpoints. Think about, you know, if there are some folks who have access to photos that they've taken that they really like, maybe you can put in some people's photos. So it might be possible to pull off a combination. So I wouldn't worry about the item type metadata for now. So here, we're just going to start out with the working file, and here's why. And I'm going to make that a publicly available file, and I'm going to add it to the Michigan Landscaping Collection that I created. And there are a couple things that I need to go through here, and then we're going to add another item. This is one way of now, I'm not going to check public here because I don't want anybody to see it. I just want it stored for my use. So here I know I'm going to take the M, because that's the master. I'm going to add it. I don't have to add it to a collection here. I can just have it kind of loose, but if I want to have all my masters for the Michigan Landscaping Collection together, I can do that. And now notice I've got 4 items here, 2 private and 2 not private. So then if we want to see the public face of this group, this is the one that we click. So these are everything that we're seeing, but when people are browsing the digital libraries or browsing the collection, they should not see the master because I did not say for that to be publicly shown. Just log out and make sure. Okay. So when a person just comes across the collection, they're seeing the bleeding heart, they're seeing the one I did earlier today about the crab apple, but they're just seeing the working files. They're not seeing the master files because I marked not